coming in here as the third round pick. Shedeur is coming in as the fifth round pick, yet he brings a lot of the social media and the entourage and the hype and all the hoopla and all that kind of stuff. So what is your sort of mindset or approach to that whole notion of that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, life of simplicity is a life full of, focus. Life of, complexity comes with life of distractions. But for me, I'm focused. I'm simple. I know what I want to accomplish.
With that, though, what was your reaction when you found out they did draft Shedeur after they drafted you?
Yeah, I love it. I love it because of who it is. I think just for us both, you can learn from one another. But also, it's not just us two in the room. At least for right now it is. But, going into the year, Kenny, Joe, and even Deshaun, just a bunch of guys who played a bunch of ball that we can all learn from one another.
Shedeur Sanders has been present. He has been there. Dillon Gabriel has not. Deshaun Watson was there early, has not been the last few weeks. But Shedeur Sanders has made a decision to be in Cleveland, be in Berea, to spend this offseason around the new coaching staff, learning the new offense. And for everything he possibly could have done this offseason, Shedeur Sanders has done it to make a good impression.
I'm with Peter on Shedeur, we all know that, but I think the wide receivers catch the football. We had Shedeur threw a beautiful ball to Jerry Jeudy against the Bears. Dropped off his shoulder pads, intercepted. So instead of a touchdown pass, it's an interception. Had several of those this year. Harold Fannin Jr., a young tight end, became the most dependable, reliable option for Shedeur throughout the season once he took over. You think about George Tyson, what a great talent he is. He is a beast. I know about the durability concern, but hey, what are you going to do? Hey, once you get the NFL, you may never have another injury. Cornell Tate, what's he do? He catches everything thrown this way. You got Makai Lemons. You got three receivers. The one guy, left tackle, that's the other key need area. You get the receiver, left tackle Monroe Freeland, best pure left tackle in this draft coming out of Georgia. How they finesse this left tackle wide receiver need with 6 and 24. It's going to be, I think, one of the most fascinating aspects around.
Fans expected a quarterback battle. What they got instead feels almost unbelievable. One is busy performing for TikTok trends like it's a show. The other is locked in, performing for an NFL franchise that actually matters. And that contrast? It's starting to look brutally one-sided. Dillon Gabriel did make it to Cleveland. That part is true. But let's not pretend that's why people are talking about him right now, because it's not. His name is not trending because he made some insane throws or shocked coaches in practice. It's not because he took over workouts or showed something special on the field. The moment that actually blew up? A TikTok dance with his girlfriend. And the second fans saw that, everything shifted. People did not laugh it off. They paused and started questioning everything. Because this is not some dead period where nothing matters. This is the exact moment where quarterbacks are supposed to be fighting for respect, grinding for every rep, trying to prove they even belong in that room. And instead of that, the first big impression tied to Dillon feels completely off. It does not match the moment. It doesn't match the pressure. And fans picked up on that instantly. Now look at what's happening on the other side, because this is where it starts to feel uncomfortable. Shedeur Sanders is walking in with a completely different energy. Locked in, focused, taking every rep seriously, building chemistry, learning everything he can. There is no distraction around him, no sideshow, no confusion about what he's there to do. Deshaun Watson is doing the same thing in his own lane, staying ready, staying sharp, handling his work like a professional who knows what's at stake. And then, right in the middle of that environment, you have got Dillon trending for choreography. That contrast is not small. It's loud, and it's impossible to ignore. Nobody is saying a player can't enjoy himself or post something online. That's not the issue. The problem is timing. And timing in this league can make you or break you. When everyone else is treating this like a battle, and you look like you are already in entertainment mode, it sends a message whether you mean it or not. That's exactly why the reactions came in so fast, and some of them were brutal. Fans didn't hold back. People started saying he's acting like a content creator before proving anything as a quarterback, and others straight up questioned if he understands the situation he's in. It might sound harsh, but that's the reality of this level. Every move gets watched. Every moment gets judged, especially when you are not the established name yet. Dillon is not walking into Cleveland with anything guaranteed. There is no secure spot waiting for him, no automatic respect.
Interesting. I agree with you. Not a good first impression, especially if the other guy, if I'm Dillon Gabriel and I'm hearing, hey, Shedeur's in that building every day. First thing I'm doing, getting on a plane, going to Cleveland, I'm getting in that building every day. Because if you want that starting job, you have to prove that you want that starting job. It's a brand new coaching staff. It doesn't matter where you were drafted, what your contract is. They're going to play who they would trust and who has earned the job. I don't know what Dillon's potentially going through on the off season. Maybe he's got family stuff. Maybe we don't know. Maybe he just needs to be away for a while. He's doing other things. But the fact that there's no communication is a red flag to me. And not that we were sitting here going, man, Dillon Gabriel, he really might be the starter next year. But it really just doesn't send a good signal.
Right.
Everything has to be earned, step by step. So when your first big moment has nothing to do with football, people are going to question your focus immediately. And right now, the difference is clear. One quarterback is moving like every second matters and his future depends on it. The other looks a little too relaxed for someone still trying to prove himself. And once that perception starts building, that is when the jokes turn into real doubt. And that's a dangerous place to be. And once that gap starts to feel real, people don't ignore it, they lean into it harder. This isn't about fans going after Dillon for no reason. It's because the situation is writing the story on its own. You have a quarterback room trying to build something serious, trying to set a tone early, trying to figure out who can be trusted when things get tough. And somehow, one of the first big talking points becomes a TikTok video. That's not the kind of attention you want at this stage, not when everything is still up for grabs. Because in this league, what people see quickly becomes what they believe. Coaches might stay quiet in public, but they notice everything. Teammates notice even more because they are right there every day. And fans? They are already locking in their opinions. Once that picture forms, it sticks, and it becomes harder to change than people think. So now the focus is shifting. It's no longer just about whether Dillon has the skill. The real question turning heads is whether he is carrying himself like someone ready for this level. And that question hits harder than anything about talent, because skill might open the door, but mindset decides if you stay inside. Right now, whether it's fair or not, he just gave people a reason to question that mindset. And in a quarterback battle, that is a dangerous position to be in. That pressure gets even heavier when comparisons start stacking up, because nobody looks at players in isolation anymore. Shedeur is walking into the same building with a completely different presence, and it's becoming impossible to ignore. Every small update, every clip, every word coming out about him points in one direction: focus, urgency, intent. He's moving like someone who understands that nothing is guaranteed and everything must be earned. He is building timing, asking questions, staying late, putting in work that doesn't always show up online but matters the most behind the scenes. That's how respect is built, step by step, without noise. On the other side, Deshaun Watson brings a different kind of drive, but just as strong. He has already seen what this league can do, the highs and the setbacks, and he's still showing up ready, still locked in, still treating every day like it matters because he knows how fast things can change. So you have two quarterbacks, different paths, same level of seriousness. And then Dillon stands in the middle of that, present physically, but the feeling around him doesn't match. That difference is not subtle. Fans are catching it right away, and once they catch it, they don't let it go.
Shedeur is 6'2", historically accurate, and I have seen him standing around normal-sized people. He's big. He's a big 6'2". Mahomes is 6'1.5". Aaron Rodgers, you never think about his size. He's 6'1", big calves, big wrists. 6'3", Matt Stafford. 6'4", Jared Goff. 6'6", Joe Flacco. Eli was 6'5". Peyton was 6'5.5" or whatever he was. Dillon Gabriel is noticeably smaller and thinner than Bo Nix, and Bo Nix is not ideal size in the NFL. He is a very, very small guy. Shedeur Sanders, he's much bigger and much better.
Now the reaction is getting louder, and it's not just random noise, it's coming from everywhere. People are pointing out the contrast in real time, saying others are grinding while he is focused on something else, questioning if he understands the weight of the moment. It may sound harsh, but this position comes with a different standard. Quarterback is not just about throwing the ball, It is about setting the tone for everyone else. It's about being the guy people look at when things get serious, when pressure hits, when leadership matters most. Right now, the tone Dillon is giving off feels unclear, and that's the issue. This level does not allow you to be halfway in. You cannot split your focus, especially when you have not earned anything yet. If he had already secured the top spot, nobody would care about a video. But that's not his reality. He is still trying to prove he belongs, still fighting for position, still being judged on every move. And in that stage, everything sends a message whether he wants it to or not. The message people are receiving right now is not full commitment, and that becomes dangerous fast. Because the others in that room are acting like every single rep matters, like every day could decide their future. Even a small difference in urgency starts to show under that kind of pressure. This league does not wait for anyone to settle in. It exposes every weakness, every distraction, every doubt. And at this moment, the small details around Dillon Gabriel are not pointing towards someone who is ready to take control of that job. That's when the gap stops being small and starts turning into something serious. Because once even a tiny doubt shows up around a quarterback, people don't let it go. They zoom in, they watch harder, they start breaking down everything like it means more than it should. Every clip becomes important, every reaction gets studied, every report coming out of Cleveland suddenly feels like proof of something bigger. And right now, the picture forming around Dillon Gabriel is not helping him at all. That one viral moment is sitting in the back of everyone's mind, and now it is shaping how they see everything else he does. A simple smile turns into, he's not focused. A calm attitude turns into, he doesn't feel the pressure. That is how quickly things flip in this league. And once that switch happens, it spreads fast. The wild part is, none of this had to happen. This pressure was not forced on him. He created it himself. At the same time, Shedeur is moving in a completely different way. No distractions, no mixed signals, no confusion about what he is there to do. His presence makes one thing clear. He is there to take something, not wait for it. And that kind of energy does not stay hidden. Teammates feel it, coaches notice it, even fans can sense it through small updates. That is how control is built quietly, without saying a word. And when you compare that to Dillon, it starts to feel like he is slowly putting himself behind without even realizing it. Not because of talent, but because the focus around him is drifting away from football.
Well, quarterbacks have ups and downs, and you never really know what they're... It's like, Kevin, just answer the stinking question.
I don't know that he could. I don't know that he looked at it and was like, oh, yeah.
So he just didn't want to lie?
I just don't know that he had an actual answer of like, this is where Dillon's gotten better. If I were to ask you that, where do you think Dillon's gotten better in the 5 weeks?
He put his whole ass under a 22-yard pass.
I saw people online trying to tell me that the all-22 clip shows a much better angle.
Yeah.
There's no angle of that's going to make that look good.
Is it from the ground up?
It was from behind, and it was like, see, look, he puts it in the only place that Jerry Jeudy could have caught it. Only place my ass. Jerry came back for the damn ball.
Also, by the way,
what are you talking about?
That is where the situation becomes dangerous. Because once the conversation around you shifts from what you can do to how serious you are already losing ground. Coaches will never say it out loud, but they see everything. They know who is fully locked in and who is just going through the day. They notice who is asking extra questions and who is doing the bare minimum. They pay attention to who is obsessed with getting better and who seems to be balancing too many things at once. Right now, in the eyes of many people, Dillon is starting to fall into that second group. This is not about saying he does not care, that would be unfair. But in the NFL, truth is not the only thing that matters. Perception matters just as much. And what it looks like right now is a quarterback who is not fully locked in while others already have. In a quarterback battle, that difference becomes real very fast. If coaches start to feel that one player is fully committed while another is still figuring things out, the choice becomes easier. Not because one is clearly more talented, but because one feels more trustworthy. And trust is everything at this position. Trust in the huddle, trust in preparation, trust that when things go wrong, your mind is only on football and nothing else. That is exactly where Dillon is now being questioned. Not directly by the team, but loudly by everyone watching from the outside. Once that noise starts building, it does not stay outside for long. It starts to creep into everything. Reporters begin asking different questions. Fans react louder to every small moment. Every mistake gets blown up bigger than it should. And suddenly, he is not just competing against other quarterbacks anymore, he is also fighting a story that he helped create. Right now, he is getting very close to a line where the conversation is no longer about whether he can win the job, but whether he is taking this seriously enough to even be in that race. That is where things get uncomfortable, because now it starts to affect how he is seen inside the building, even if nobody says it openly. Coaches are not going to point at one video and complain, but everything gets remembered, everything gets noted, especially at this position. They are not just looking at throws or stats, they are studying habits, mindset, daily behavior, and full commitment to the moment. And right now, the timing is working against him badly. While Shedeur is stacking quiet progress, learning faster, building trust, and showing leadership in ways that do not go viral, Dillon gave the outside world something loud to focus on. Even a small distraction becomes heavy when everything else is close. This is not about one player being far better than the other, it is about who makes the decision easier for the coaches. One is removing doubt step by step, while the other is adding questions without meaning to. And in a competition like this, coaches always move toward clarity, toward the player who shows up the same way every single day, with no noise, no confusion, and no extra concerns.
Shedeur is way better than Dillon Gabriel. He just is. If Shedeur had started from the start, game 1 against Cincinnati at home, they would be the talk of the NFL right now because I look at the fourth quarter yesterday, they go 0 for 4 on third down because Dillon was playing not to lose. Don't throw it to them, don't put it on the ground. And he did a great job of that. But on one of those third downs, you have to try to make a play to win the football game. And trust me, no matter what Stefanski called, Shedeur would try to win the football game because it's how he was raised. You're going to make a play because you were born to make a play.
Let's not grade it because we want to see Shedeur. Let's grade it fairly. That's all I'm saying.
I graded it fairly.
Like, you really want to, you said I want him to play bad so Shedeur could get
I do, but some teachers might want this kid to do bad, but when he turned that test in, she just got to grade that.
I believe Shedeur's better as well, but if we're going to grade, stop grading with bias.
All right, grading without bias. QBR for the game. Dillon Gabriel was a 38 on
He man, rookie after 3 days of
QBR
practice.
Don't lie, man.
It doesn't lie.
Take the name off of it, bro. Just look at the numbers. The stats say the QBR was a 38.
You're talking to Mr. Take the name off of it. I'm the one who took Sanders off his jersey.
But you're not taking Gabriel off his jersey.
Gabriel don't matter.
You is.
No, it don't.
You said he's a rookie with 3 days.
I said he's a rookie.
Bro.
Don't grade him and say, oh, he's a rookie because y'all want this guy in. Be fair.
But you graded him. Well, he's a rookie with 3 days to prepare. Oh, well, let me give him a little leeway.
Okay.
Ain't no leeway,
What
fam.
does everybody say? I don't want to see Shedeur as the number 2 because if he gets thrown in the game, it's not fair because he didn't get a game plan, right? This kid got 3 days. 3 days. I said I wasn't impressed. I said he played decent under the circumstances.
So he got a D-.
Give him some time.
What grade are you giving him? D- from a key?
I gave him a C.
C?
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
D, not a D-, a D, okay?
C-.
C-.
He might well got a damn D, Richie. A C- like a 69.8.
That is exactly why the gap keeps growing instead of closing. Because while Dillon is trying to fix how people see him, Shedeur is just moving forward in silence. Day after day, he keeps stacking work, building trust, and showing he is fully locked in on that role. No noise, no distractions, just steady progress that adds up fast. And in this league, that matters more than people think. Coaches are not only watching talent, they are watching direction. Who is improving? Who is gaining momentum? Who is making it easier to believe in them every day? Right now, everything around Shedeur is trending up. With Dillon, the conversation just took a hit, fair or not. And in a quarterback room, momentum is everything. Once you fall even slightly behind, it is not just about catching up anymore. It is about changing the story people already started telling about you. That is where things get hard. Now every practice matters more. Every rep matters more. Even small mistakes get magnified. Fans are not helping either. Comments keep popping up questioning his focus, telling him to lock into football more. They may sound like jokes, but they come from real expectations. When people feel a player is not matching the moment, They react fast and loud. That noise spreads, and it sticks to your name whether you like it or not. The only way out is to dominate so clearly that the doubt disappears. But that takes full focus, with no mixed signals allowed. Because now Dillon is not just trying to win a job, he is trying to rebuild trust in how people see his mindset. And that is a tougher fight than football reps. And that is why this has turned into a real test of identity. At this level, talent is already assumed. Nobody reaches the NFL quarterback room without it, so that is not the question. The real question is how you handle pressure when everything is being watched. Right now, the urgency around Shedeur is clear. Every update shows a player who knows exactly what is at stake and treats every day like it matters. That is how trust is built. Not through talk or moments online, but through consistent work behind the scenes. And that is the gap Dillon is now dealing with. It is not just about ability anymore, it is about perception. Because in the NFL, perception builds momentum, and momentum decides opportunity. In the end, it's not just about talent or highlights. It's about how every move shapes the story around you. Right now, that story is splitting in two different directions, and fans can clearly see it unfolding. If you enjoy these hard-hitting breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and like for more bold takes like this.